Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from Victoria here in Canada. I hope that you are all having a great weekend so far. I hope it's off to a good start and you are here, you are ready to learn. We are looking at IELTS speaking part 2 and we're talking about the future. So this will be a cue card where you have to use a lot of future tense or the future participle will be, going to be. Welcome Chayani. Hi Arjun. Good to see members joining in to the class. This is a members chat class. Everybody's welcome to watch. To become a member of our channel, simply click the join button next to the subscribe button. If you do not see that button, let me know, send me an email. I will show you my email address in a moment. Of course, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, please visit us there. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that we use for our live sessions and that we use to train students around the world to get higher band scores. We help thousands of students every single month to get access to the premium package, all of our practice exams, audio materials, interactive courses, apps for your phone. Click this big red button that's just above my head there. The Join Now button, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. When you click that button, fill out the purchase form and you can use this discount code TARGET9, this ongoing promotion that we have this month. That will get you a 20% discount on the premium package. And students, we are an official IELTS test registration center. We're IDP British Council partners. I'm a certified British Council agent, so you are in very good hands with us. For the general IELTS, it's the green background. Click that big red button there. Nice to see so many people already in the class. Hi Ramelia, Amra, Sarah, Masala. Nice to have everybody with me this morning, ready to learn. It's fantastic. We do have a new video coming out for you tomorrow as well, a new HD video that's kind of exciting. It will be a practice interview. You can get our apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help, from your app stores, and you can follow us on Instagram for vocabulary and more tips, IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And students, if you still have questions, because a lot of you do, and questions are great, one of the most important steps to good thinking, good learning is asking good questions. So if you have some questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will get back to you ASAP. And we have 2 classes for you today. This speaking part 2 class followed by a speaking part 3 class where everybody will be able to join the chat. And then tomorrow we have a class on Discord, on the Discord server IELTS Prep. IELTS Prep on Discord is a large community of IELTS students, about I think 6,000 now. Discord is it's an interface. It's a different kind of software. It's a great piece of software. It was kind of created for gaming or gamers originally, but it works really well for IELTS learning as well. So there's a group of students who created IELTS Prep, and we've partnered with them. So check us out on Discord there tomorrow. And then next week we've got lots of classes for you. We'll have another class on Light Hall as well. We've got to set up that class still, but when it's up you'll be able to join it with that link. And we still have this HD video going on here that I'm suggesting you should watch. I just put that link in there to practice your speaking. All right. Everybody's ready to go. Let's look at speaking part 2, the cue card. So IELTS speaking. We spend a lot of time on speaking in these live classes. It's definitely the focus of most of the live classes, but not all. We do, of course, writing and listening and reading as well. Just a quick note on that. I'd never really kind of touch on that, but speaking really is the ultimate goal, right? It's real time, it's fast. You have to think quickly. There's little chance for interpretation or translation. So if you can speak well, if you can speak professionally, then you can do it all. So you can read, write, and listen. It's kind of the ultimate goal. So within that ultimate goal, speaking part 2, where you actually talk about one kind of idea for a sustained 2 minutes, where you give good information. That's really the pinnacle of the speaking section as well. So a lot of people find speaking part 2 challenging, but it's a matter of practice and understanding the strategy of how to think about the question and the response, the questions. Okay. Baljit, believe it or not, very good. Baljit's asking a question. Baljit's asking, who came up with this question? This question was actually on an IELTS exam. So, or I should say it was a very similar question, but almost the same. This was requested by one of our members a while ago. It just got kind of lost in the pile of requests, but this was actually on a real IELTS exam. So a very similar question was on a real IELTS exam. So if you're thinking, well, that's kind of weird, I don't know if they'll ask that question, this was akin to an IELTS question on a past exam, Baljit. So this is where, again, step number 1, you want to read the question carefully. Okay, so Sarah says, I feel sorry for the one who got this question. While it wouldn't have been just one person, Sarah, it would have probably been thousands of students who got this question. Okay, so step 1, read the question carefully. I don't actually think it's that bad. Honestly, students, I think that this question is easier than some other questions that I have seen, even though it might seem a bit challenging at first. You'll notice that it's probably not as bad as you think, especially because we live in the age of technology and science fiction. So we have and problems. We'll talk about that. So we live in the age of problems, global problems. We live in the age of technology, and we live in the age of science fiction. So this question is not as bad as you might think once we look at it carefully and think about it. So read the question carefully. That's first step, right? Okay. So let's do it. Here we go. IELTS speaking part 2. Okay, so you have started the speaking section. You spoke for about 5 minutes about yourself, maybe talked about your hobbies, where you live, what you're doing, whether you're working or a student. And then the examiner says that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions on a card. You will have 1 minute to read these and 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Okay, so let's take a look at it. What is the idea? Where did you learn about it? Why is this idea beneficial for the future? Why is this idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Okay, so we've got the question. It's definitely quite science fiction or sci-fi, as they say, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like I say, there's a lot of science fiction out there in the world today. All you need to do is just think about movies, right? Okay, so step number 2, what is it? So I've read the question carefully. Step number 2, an idea or innovation that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. What's my next step? What should I do? Sarah says, decide what I'm going to talk about. Baljit says, identify the tense, and Amra says, identify the topic or identify the category. Yeah. Before you decide what you want to talk about, Sarah, really focus on identifying the category and the tense. So, okay. All right, so the tense here, obviously we're going to be using the future, so will and going to. Okay, are we using any other tense for this cue card other than the future? Okay, any other tense? Yeah, Baljit, we might use some future perfect like will have been. Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. So Sarah says we have to talk about the past too, because the question include where did you learn about it, right? So here we're going to use the past and maybe even the present as well, right? So this is the type of question where you will likely talk about the past, the present, and the future. Okay, absolutely. And what's the category? So is this an event? Is it an object? Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it an idea? So what are we talking about here? Talk about an idea or innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Okay, Anir Ban says it's an item or an object, and Sarah says it's more of an idea. Okay, now if you're thinking quickly here on your feet, you're probably thinking, okay, it's an idea, but here, yeah, we're talking a little bit about an idea, but we're definitely talking about an object. So we're talking about an invention, right? So most of this is going to be some kind of an object mixed with some kind of an idea, right? So we have to talk about the appearance of the object. We have to talk about the function of the object. And we have to talk about also the origin of the idea and the object, the reasons, right? And the results as well. So that's kind of what's coming to mind as I'm preparing for this cue card, right? So it's a combination of an object and idea here. So it's a little bit unique. Okay, and sometimes you get this kind of a combination, and you have to talk about the requirements. That's right, Amram. What is needed? It's directly in the question, right? Why is this idea not possible yet, and what is needed to make it a reality? Okay, good. So let's do this. Next step, step 3. Now what do I do? In my next step, and this is where you have to be quick. So definitely coming up with good ideas is key to having good conversation and to getting a high band score, a band 7, a band 8, a band 9 on your IELTS exam. Okay, Anirban says interplanetary travel. Yeah, that's one word on your bun. You don't even need the hyphenation there, just interplanetary travel. So interplanetary travel on your bun, what you're seeing here is an extremely fast spaceship, right? A very fast spaceship. Yeah. I think on your bun, that's a great idea. Okay. Another one by Anirban is brain transplant. Sure. Okay. It's getting into the weird a little bit, but that's okay. All right. So yeah, we want to think of 2 or 3 ideas and then choose the best one. All right. Baljit says extremely compact computer. Okay. Give me a couple more. I just want to show you that you can come up with some good ideas. What I would do here, members, is first I would think about problems that need to be solved. Right? If you think about it, innovations and ideas usually result from solving some kind of a situation, some kind of a challenge for humanity. What are some of the major challenges facing humanity that need to be solved? So before we get into, you know, holographic communication in 3D, Amra, what are the problems that we need to solve for humanity, right? So again, and I've said this before, when you're doing the IELTS exam, and this is a very important tip for you, okay? So the IELTS exam deals with general concepts that are known to basically all people, and regardless of culture, religion, age, and gender, most people think about these, okay? So keep these in mind to come up with good ideas and communicate quickly. Okay. So Baljit says disease. Yeah, illness, right? So problems that need to be solved by humanity. Illness. Okay, sure. Baljit says climate change. Okay, energy crisis, right? So humans consume a lot of energy, right? Okay. Anirban says meteor can hit the Earth. Okay, intergalactic disaster. Meteor. All right, sure. Pollution. Sure. Lack of water. Yeah. So resources, right? Food and water. Sure. Absolutely. Yep. Sarah says natural resources. Exactly. That's what I just got up here, Sarah. Resources, food and water. Sure. Another one. There's another one that's a big one. Anybody mention it yet? No, I don't see it, but you've mentioned a suggestion for it on your bun. Fuel would be natural resources as well, Sarah. So fuel would be under the energy crisis. Okay, right? Okay, and then overpopulation, right? So space. Now, when you think about these issues that affect all of humanity, right? So illness, COVID, we don't have to go far, affecting all of humanity, big danger for the survival of our species. Climate change, another big danger for our species. Energy crisis, fuel, not having enough petrol, not having enough energy, another big one, right? Intergalactic disaster. Yeah, I think most of us have thought about it. We've seen movies about it, a meteor hitting Earth or an alien invasion. Pollution. Yeah, another big problem. Resources, having enough food, having enough water. Overpopulation is one word. So now that we go to step 3 to think about ideas or innovations for the future, right? Now we can think about these a little bit better. So interplanetary travel, spaceship, what problem does that solve? Interplanetary travel. Overpopulation, right? We run out of space. We go to another planet. Overpopulation. Brain transplant. What one does that solve? Probably illness, right? Keep it simple. Okay. Very compact computer. It's probably another spatial solution. Okay. Give me some other ideas. Give me an idea, students, for energy crisis. I've got a couple right away. There's 2 or 3 for me that just immediately jump into my head for energy crisis. What would be an innovation or an idea to solve the problem of energy crisis? Okay. Okay, Sarah says a green city, a completely solar powered city. Sure. Yeah, Sarah, you could definitely do a good part 2 speaking on a purely solar powered city. Okay. Another one for that. So this one is purely energy. Okay. Solar powered city, hydrogen fuel cells. You've probably heard about that. That's been talked about for a long time. So basically running, for example, cars on water. Okay. Amra, very good. Nuclear fusion. That's a big one. And if you're into physics, that's one of the holy grails. They would call it the holy grail of physics, is trying to figure out nuclear fusion, right? Which is extremely powerful. Okay. So even just talking about solving the energy crisis on Earth, solar powered city, hydrogen fuel cells, nuclear fusion. There's another one called the perpetual kinetic machine, or the perpetual motion machine. It's a machine that moves without stopping, right? As well. Okay. Pollution. You can probably think of a few as well. And resources. I'm sure you can think of a few as well. I'm not going to go into those in great detail right now because I want to go to the next step. So let's do this, students. So let's take a vote this time. I haven't done this in a long time. So let's make interplanetary travel number 1. Let's make brain transplant number 2. Compact computer number 3. Solar powered city number 4. hydrogen fuel cell number 5, and nuclear fusion number 6. So give me your vote, members. Let me know which one of these you want to focus on for today's part 2 example in the class. And if we don't choose your vote, then don't worry, you can try it in a bit. So Baljit would really like to do a compact computer. Baljit, keep in mind you want to choose one that you can easily talk about. Masala says, number 1, let's do interplanetary travel, a very fast spaceship. Yeah, okay, I like how Anirban, Amra, and Masala are saying number 1, and in my personal opinion, I think number 1, if I were sitting the IELTS exam, I would choose number 1. Okay, why? And even if I don't know the word interplanetary, but I know the word planet and going to another planet, right? And then, there's Elon Musk all about, let's go to Mars kind of thing. So there's a lot of information out there about this in recent times as well. Why would I choose number 1? And you can see, students, that number 1 with the members is the most popular. Anirban says, I can talk about all the information, not things, Anirban, right? Never use things. So I can talk about all the information about SpaceX, Elon Musk in the media. Baljit says it solves a lot of problems on Earth. Yeah, I mean, to say it simply, right? Going to another planet not only solves overpopulation, but it would also help save the environment. It would also probably deal a bit with the energy problem as well, right? The other planet could have more oil. So one way to solve a lot of our problems is, hey, let's go to another planet and eat that, right? Okay. So certainly it's high on the list. And as we can see, we're actually working on this issue. We're investing billions of dollars both at the government level and privately to try to do just that, right? So even though it seems like an impossible task, so there's a lot of talking points. That's right, Anirban. So lots of information to talk about. Yeah, lots of available information, right, in the media and in the science fiction community as well. Why else? So that's one reason that I would choose to talk about this, but there is another reason as well. So why else? Lots of talking points. And what's another reason that I would kind of go for this topic? Well, me personally, I would probably say it's one of the easier ones to talk about. In terms of vocabulary, okay? So talking about a solar-powered city or a hydrogen fuel cell, especially nuclear fusion, you might get into some fairly challenging vocabulary to explain those ideas. Okay? Yeah, exactly, Amra. It's fairly easy to talk about. Now, it would probably be a relatively popular answer, potentially, but it's still a very good answer, and I think you can still be very original when you're talking about this. Okay, good. So, step 4. Okay. Notes. Right? Useful notes. Okay. Now, you want to talk about the notes, or you want to think about the notes in a very structured way, the way that you're going to talk about them, right? So the first thing that you want to talk about is the appearance of the object itself. Okay, now again, don't write appearance. This is just for your notes. So what does your super fast spaceship look like? Okay. What does it look like? Okay. And keep it simple here, students. Don't get too fancy. Remember, you have to answer all of the questions on the card. So maybe at this point you got really excited because you're like, oh, I have a really good idea and I know all about Elon Musk and his SpaceX program, and you're like hyper excited. But it's the IELTS exam. It's not about you getting super excited. It's about sticking to strategy and making sure that you answer all these questions on the card. So what is the idea? Where did you learn about it? And so on, okay? So Unboxing Masala says it's a tiny capsule for 300 passengers. Baljit says it's a UFO. Okay, Sarah says it's a huge plane. There's an E on the end of that word, Sarah. P-L-A-N-E, plane, not plan. Okay, it's different. Baljit says it's like a cargo plane. Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to say large space shuttle. Okay. It can fit 2,000 passengers. Let's get a bit fancy. Interplanetary travel, we're traveling for a while, right? Okay. What kind? So, yeah, speed of light, very good. On your bun. Okay, so speed of light. It obviously has to be very fast, right? Because planets are very far away. So speed of light. So let's keep the notes simple. We only have 1 minute to write these, right? So we're only writing down the main idea that comes to our mind. So space shuttle, 2,000 passengers. Remember numbers, right? 2,000 passengers, speed of light. Okay. What else? If you watch your sci-fi movies, you'll probably think about a few other good points. I've got a couple. I like sci-fi personally. So definitely there's a couple of points here, and we're working on these. So we're actually, scientists are implementing these in. Sarah says multiple engines. Anirban says made of carbon fiber. Sleeping cells. Oxygen, food, water. Yep. And if you think of oxygen, food, water, you might think of gravity. Artificial gravity, right? One of the big challenges for intergalactic space travel is gravity, right? Humans don't do so well without gravity for a long time. So artificial gravity, if that comes to mind. Students, just showing you some band 9 ideas and words. If you can't think of all of these, it's okay. You can still get a fantastic score on your IELTS exam, okay? So, okay, now, what should I do next? So remember, this is a combination of an object and the idea. So what should I do next? What should I talk about next? Again, I have to have good structure. I have to answer all the questions. I have to make sure that it creates a story for the examiner so that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Exactly, Sarah, I agree. The origin. See, and Umra agrees as well. So origin, where did the idea come from? Okay, so where did the idea come from? Let's stick with what we've been talking about, right? Elon Musk going to Mars. Sure. Okay. It could be Star Trek, it could be Star Wars, could be a movie, but we can go with the popular Elon Musk these days and going to Mars. Sure. Okay, reason. We've talked about this, okay? So Overpopulation, energy crisis, resources, right? So we're solving a lot of problems with this one. So that's why it's a good choice, okay? All right. Requirements. What do we need for this to become NASA? Very good, Alfred. Sure, why not? What do we need for this to become a reality? Yeah, Sarah, I agree. We need scientists. Now, scientists is a good, we need, Chayani says we need Neil Armstrong. Much money. Okay, now much money and scientists, that will naturally come to you. So what kinds of scientists? Let's see if we can really impress the examiner here with some nice vocabulary. So what kinds of scientists, and you don't have to list all of them because obviously we would need a lot of different kinds of scientists, but try to think about some of the main types of scientists that we would need. Yeah, aerospace engineers. Okay, so this is just for your vocabulary here. Aerospace engineers, astrophysicists. These are words I don't even write. Astrophysicists. There you go. When you hear these, by the way, viewers, members, as you hear these words, great pronunciation practice here with these words. Astrophysicists. Astro means space. Physics, right? The study of the physical properties of the world around us. Physicists, so astrophysicists. Astronomers, yes. Okay. So lots of different types of scientists for sure. Okay. Geologists, absolutely. Okay. Very nice. So Masala says we would need global support for this idea. So you would need international community. Much money. How much money? Use numbers, students. Use numbers, right? How much money do you think we need to create a spaceship that can travel across the galaxy? Sarah says billions of dollars, right? Potentially trillions even. Okay, and international effort. Okay, good. All right, sure. Let's look at the questions, make sure we're answering all of these. So what is the idea? Where did we learn about it? Why is the idea beneficial for the future? Sure. Why is the idea not possible yet? And what is needed to make it a reality? Okay, so we're answering what is needed to make it a reality. Why is this idea not possible yet? So why can we not build this spaceship yet? Okay. So Sarah says we don't have enough science. Can you give me a little bit more tangible? Not enough money, no global support. Yeah. Can you give me some specific technical limitations? What would be the technical limitation on your bun? Okay, what would be a technical limitation? I would say, Kennel, that Kennel says it's technological limitations. Yeah, I would say one of the biggest technological limitations is a power source and a powerful engine. So I think our biggest, if somebody asks me why do we not have a spaceship yet, think about your science fiction movies. So if you think about movies like Star Wars, like Star Trek, and like a lot of other sci-fi films out there, all of them show spaceships that have just these different kinds of engines, like warp drives that can push the spaceship much faster than what we have today. And they use unique kinds of fuels, like using crystals or some other innovative concept that we just don't have yet, like nuclear fusion drives, right? So we need more advanced energy sources, and we need more advanced engines to power these spaceships, right? That's basically it. Okay. All right, good. So now we're having fun with it, right? Sarah, are you still feeling sorry for the person that got this question, or would you be now excited to get this question on your next IELTS exam? Okay, do you still, so this is my question here for you students, not just for Sarah. So do you still feel nervous about this question, or would you be excited to get this question on your IELTS exam? Okay. Sarah says, changed my mind. I'd be super happy to get this question. Okay, good, right? Yeah. Hunter Bun says, hashtag Star Wars fan. All right, right on. Yeah, exactly. Right? So, you know, I laugh and we're playing with it, but there is an important concept to keep in mind here. One of the most important parts of getting a good score on your IELTS is don't look at the negative. You should always look at the positive. So in your IELTS, and it's just good advice for life, okay? In IELTS and in life, look at the cup as half full. Be an optimist, okay? And think about what you know, not what you don't know. For sure, that's the only way we're ever going to get to another planet, right? If we keep focusing on, well, we just don't have the engine. Well, we just don't have the dilithium crystals to power our warp drive. So if we think that way, then we certainly will not. And definitely the people who built the spaceship, the space shuttle, the space station, they were thinking about what they know and what they can do. They were a yes man and a yes woman, not a no man and not a no woman, okay? Elon Musk, I guarantee you, is always thinking about what he can do and not about what he can't do. So when you get your question on the IELTS exam, that's what you are. You're Elon Musk. You're thinking about what you can do. All right. So next step. Step 5. Get your first sentence ready. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do that. So we're going to start putting this response together. I will write down my first sentence, and you put together your sentence. We'll take a look. Alfred, you should always be looking at the positive side. Absolutely. Okay, so there's my first sentence. A very important idea for the future is an intergalactic spaceship that will allow people to travel to other planets. Your mind is blown. So is the examiners. They're like, yes, finally, Elon Musk Jr. in front of me. Okay, very good, right? So I'm going to keep going because you're on a roll. And if you're nervous and if you're stuck, all you have to do is just look at your notes, right? So ideally means like in a perfect situation. It's a nice way to start a sentence, especially for this kind of an idea. Ideally, okay, ideally. This would be a large space shuttle that could carry at least 2,000 passengers and all of the resources such as food, water, and fuel to travel for months or even years across the galaxy until reaching an inhabitable What does the word inhabitable mean? Inhabitable planet. Alfred, thinking out of the box, and remember, Alfred, that to think out of the box, we don't have to get crazy smart. We just have to think about common concepts, right? Like what I mentioned here earlier, problems that need to be solved by humanity. Again, I'm reminding you of this, right? Illness, climate change, energy crisis, intergalactic disaster, right? What does the word inhabitable mean? Inhabitable. Pronounce that with me. Baljit says good for habitat. Yeah, Romelia, very good. Romelia says, let's keep it simple. It just means livable. Okay. If you don't know the word inhabitable, you can use the word livable, right? So, you know, sometimes I get a little bit concerned that the viewers, the candidates are thinking, well, the only reason Adrian can do this is because he has all this vocabulary. It's not true. Fancy vocabulary can always be replaced by simpler vocabulary. Content is much more important than vocabulary. Keep that in mind. Again, it's that positive thinking, right? Thinking about what you can do instead of what you can't do. So it's not about vocabulary, it's about content, okay? Content is king, as they say. It's about content. Fancy vocabulary can always be replaced by simpler words. Okay? It's the idea that's important. Yes, Alfred, it's a place where we can live. Okay, so a very important idea for the future. This is speaking, students, so make sure that you're speaking. I've been saying repeat the words, but just make sure to speak, okay? And repeat. All right. So here we go. A very important idea for the future is an intergalactic spaceship that will allow people to travel to other planets. Ideally, this would be a large space shuttle that could carry at least 2,000 passengers and all of the resources such as food, water, and fuel to travel for months or even years across the galaxy until reaching an inhabitable planet. The spaceship should also have artificial gravity to keep the passengers healthy. I have been thinking about this idea on and off. On and off means here and there. Like I thought about it a week ago, I thought about it 6 months ago, I thought about it a year ago. I've been thinking about the idea on and off. Okay? Repeat this sentence after me, everybody. I have been thinking about this idea on and off for the past 2 years. So I have been thinking about this idea on and off for the past 2 years, especially since seeing Elon Musk, a well-known billionaire futurist, talk about it in social media, and he has been working on it with his SpaceX program. Okay. All right. Now I see some sentences coming up. Baljeet, good. Baljeet says, an innovative idea that comes to mind is intergalactic spaceship, which will send people to another planet. Love it, Baljeet. Amra says, an innovation for the future that is non-existent today is an intergalactic spaceship with which people will travel to other planets. Love it, Amra. I like how you're identifying the topic sentence. It's non-existent today, right? Very good. So you're including that part of the question. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Now, why is this such an important piece of the puzzle of what we need today? So keep going, and students, keep writing sentences. You don't have to write the first sentence. You can write the next sentence. You can write a sentence that's answering one of the questions on the cue card. All I want to see is just your ideas, your English coming to life. Okay? By the way, another innovative idea some of you might have thought of is like a universal translator that allows people to talk in any language, anywhere, in real time. Something we're also working on. Google is working on that as well. Okay, but then I would be out of a job. You wouldn't see me anymore. You'd be like, oh, we don't need Adrian. I just eat this little jelly bean and I can talk in any language I need to for the next 2 hours. Right? Yeah, that's right, sir. I will lose my job. Okay. All right. So yeah, don't work on that idea, guys. Let's leave that idea for a couple of years, at least till I find something else. No, I'll go work on the spaceship. I'll be a flight attendant on the spaceship, serving you your energy jello food as we travel to another planet. Okay. So he has been working on it with his SpaceX program. This innovation seems to be extremely important for the future of humanity to solve several major challenges, such as overpopulation, energy, and resource crises. Clearly, space on Earth is limited. People are living in smaller and smaller homes as global population has ballooned to over, notice this return to numbers, right? You're always returning to numbers, to over 8 billion people. So notice that I'm talking about the past as well, right? 8 billion. It is only a matter of time that we run out of space to inhabit on Earth. Now, I'm on a roll, and this is where I'm realizing, oh boy, I can really go on and on. I can talk about energy crisis, I can talk about resource crisis, But I have to make sure that I'm answering all of the questions on the cue card before the examiner says, okay, your 2 minutes is up. Let's go to part 3. So I am going to make sure that I answer all of those questions, and I'm going to answer what is needed and why it's not possible today. In order to make an interstellar space shuttle, humanity will need to band together. Band together means to work together. Band together, invest trillions of dollars, and implore the world's leading scientists, astrophysicists, I'll never spell that right, astrophysicists, and aerospace engineers. It will likely take at least several decades, if not a century, of R&D. R&D means research and development. R&D. We often shorten that to just R&D. Okay, it's a well-known abbreviation. So R&D. Okay, so now I have my answer, and if the examiner hasn't stopped me, so sometimes people are like, okay, well, what happens if the examiner hasn't stopped me? Well, I can definitely summarize what I've said, reflect back on the original topic question, and then hopefully the examiner stops me, and if not, I can still expand. So I can say, so having a spaceship that can travel close to the speed of light with a new type of engine and fuel source is an innovation that is not possible today, but will be a great benefit to future society. Okay, so that's my summarization. That's how I'm letting the examiner know that I have finished my response. And if they're still looking at me because they're they're super sci-fi, they're like, yes, finally, another Star Wars fan. And they're still looking at you to speak more, than you can say, in addition to solving the problem of overpopulation, such a spaceship can also address the energy crisis and depleting resources on Earth. Okay, and then you keep going, why and how. And I'm sure that all of you are smart and you can think of the reasons why this innovation solves energy crisis and depleting resources. We go to another planet. Hey, that planet's got trees too. They look a little different, but they're trees. They work. We can cut them down. Awesome. Okay. So that's what you do. Baljit says this spaceship will be a spacious mode of transport which will carry around 3,000 passengers in one go. To turn this project into reality, countries need to collaborate with each other. I have been thinking about this idea on and off for almost a year. What got my attention was an interview with Elon Musk by Ted Ed. He gave his insights that his company is working on a project to send people to Mars. From there, I became more interested in it. Baljit, that is awesome. Okay, I love it. I love that answer. Alfred says, to live on other planets, the scientists must do a lot of research about the resources that we need to survive on that new planet. Now, Alfred, be careful. Remember, we're talking about the spaceship and not survival on the other planet. So don't go off topic, Alfred. Okay? All right. Okay, students. So intergalactic travel. That's the answer for this cue card, but I'm sure you can give me some other answers. And as you can see, members, I'm putting on my ears, my headphones, because I want you to volunteer, members, for speaking with me. So go to aehelp.com, log into your My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking. Make sure your microphone is working. Make sure you have a good internet connection. Make sure you let the website use your microphone, and then message me, Master. Say, I want to do this. This looks like fun. Okay, and that we shall. So let's jump to aehelp.com. Click the Join Now button to get access to all of our goodies, and then get into your My Student account. In your My Student account, click the Student Partner Speaking. Right there. It's that one. If you want to book an IELTS speaking practice interview with me, students, you can do that too at some point by clicking that yellow button. Okay? And click that yellow button. You can get a full speaking interview where you can practice your IELTS speaking section just like in the real exam, and then you can get a band score estimate and some feedback on what you're doing well, what you need to improve, and how you can improve it. Okay? All right, let's click on the Student Partner Speaking, the blue one for now. And there we are. We've got Sarah, Janish, Kiki, Baljit, Islambek, Masala, Jiwen, Sunantha. They're all in here. Okay, Sarah's the first one out of the box. It means she's the first one to send the message. Hello. Hi, Sarah. We've got time, students. We've got about 30 minutes almost, so I definitely will give a few of our members a chance here. I see Amra, Masala, and Baljit all jumping in. That's great. Sunantha, get in there as well. Hi, Sarah. Are you ready? Romelia just jumped in. That's fantastic. Okay, and listen to each other, okay? Try to think about what that person is doing well, what they can improve.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Sarah. Yes, I can. How are you? I could hear you, Sarah. You're a little bit maybe choppy now. I don't know if it's the connection or what's going on.
I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect.
Is my voice clear?
Yeah. I think there was just some interruption there in the audio, but that's okay. All right. So, Sarah, you said now you're kind of excited about this question, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, then give it a shot. So you can talk about the same idea that we practiced in the class. So spaceship for intergalactic travel, or if you want, you can try a different idea of your own. It's completely up to you. I will start you off. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, you will see some questions. You will have 1 minute to prepare and then 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today, but can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. I have been thinking on and off about inventing a green city, a whole city, 100-kilometer capable to carry 2,000 citizens that works on renewable energy, air instead of fuel power to provide electricity for houses, cars that works on sun, and restricting using plastics and using instead objects that will be able to get recycled, using street lamps that mainly works on the solar system, and 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 sun. A city that going to be a scapegoat for people to be tight-knit with the nature around us. I have got the idea from the vision of Paris 2013 that plans to to have planted areas covering Paris from from rooftop gardens to entire new parks. All these features provided in the Green City will end 13% of the pollution in future on the Earth, and and it will reduce the energy usage, and it will be a healthier place for people who are suffering from harsh disease. This idea is not available now, but it's gonna be available in the next 5 years because we don't have yet the amount of money that it's gonna help us to build all the robots and machines that will work on the nature resources.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. And now we will continue with part 3. Please put the note paper to the side, turn it over. I will take back the questions, and now I will ask you some more questions related to your response and the topic of part 2. All right, Sarah, that was pretty good. So you went with your original idea about the green city, right? And right away, I say that you would get about a band 7, maybe 7.5. You had a lot of really good ideas. I think you almost had too many good ideas that you were trying to really squeeze into your response. So my first advice is try to focus your idea a little bit more, especially at the beginning. So you're talking about a green city, and it's going to have renewable energy. And then you went into cars that work on the sun, on solar energy. Okay, the word that you're looking for is solar energy. And then you went into restricting the use of plastics, using objects that can be recycled. So it was not bad, but I felt like you're maybe trying to touch on too many points. Instead of going into restricting use of plastics and recycling, I maybe would have just kind of stuck and kept with the idea of using solar energy only. So I would have said maybe a point like all vehicles use solar energy. No house or no car is allowed to use fossil fuels or gas or petrol or any other form of energy that creates air pollution. So just making that point clear of why it's the green city, right? And then saying there's a lot of green spaces, like having a lot of parks and trees in everybody's yard, in front of everybody's house, on the rooftops. So kind of focusing more on the green city concept than plastics and recycling. But it was okay. I really liked your use of numbers. I thought that was fantastic. That really kept it clear. So you said like a concept that came from the vision of Paris 2030. It sounded a little bit like you said 13, 2030.
I did.
2030, okay? So the future, not the past, right? 30%, sure, that's good, in 5 years. So all of those numbers, I think you said 100 square kilometers for the city. Those numbers were really helping me to have clarity in my mind. So that was really good. And then you also did a really good job of paying attention to answering all the questions. The only reason you were losing some marks is because I think you were rushing a little bit. So your ideas were a little bit confusing at times and a little bit disconnected at times. Like you used the word scapegoat, that means something different. that word does not make sense in this context. A city that's going to be an escape for people, not a scapegoat for people. Scapegoat is somebody that we blame for a mistake that they didn't make. Okay, so that's a different word. Okay, so scapegoat means blaming an innocent person for a mistake. Okay, for a certain reason. So just be careful. And I think that, you can correct your word choice and your grammar, and you can make better connections if you just slow it down a little bit slower. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But overall, very good. I like the concept of the green city, and I think it was great. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, Sarah.
Have a great day. Bye.
All right. We've got a green city. Let's jump to Masala. I think Masala was probably the member who has had the least chance responding so far. So Masala, are you ready? We haven't heard your voice in a while, I believe. Trying to be a little bit fair. Alfred, you said you're not ready yet, but when you are, let me know. Okay, good. Masala's ready. Hi, Masala.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How are you?
I am very wonderful.
Awesome. Masala, are you ready for this part 2 cue card? Give it a shot.
Yes, I am excited.
All right, great. That's a good way to be. Okay, I will start you off. And again, the same instructions as for Sarah. You can choose to talk about the same topic that we practiced or your own, up to you. You decide. Here we go. So that is the end of speaking part 1. We will now begin speaking part 2. I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, prepare your answers. You can take notes in the 1 minute if you wish. And then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start and when to stop. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A greatest innovations for upcoming 70 years is an intergalactic spaceship that will send to people at other livable planet which should much far from Earth. This space shuttle would be a tiny capsule by outside look, but actually it could capable to carry almost 10,000 passengers and will have been all essential resources such as higher quantity of oxygens, food, water, and thousands of barracks of fuels to travel across the galaxy until the reaching a suitable planet for humanity living. And the main need for this spaceship is millions of dollars of money and greatest mind to make these innovations very successful. And also, I heard about I heard about this idea from very multimillionaire Jeff Bezos with interview with National Scientific Scientists Channel at last year. He talked about this idea with a famous scientist of NASA to make a convenient space shuttle that allow to people go other planet without any critical problems. And he also he was also he was also he, he was he was also funded millions of dollars for starting this project at this year. And beside that, main problem for these innovations is the main reason for making these innovations is that there are there the Earth, the planet where we live now, is has been going to very much has been suffer from very much challenges like energy crisis as well as overpopulations, and which has
Okay, your 2 minutes is up. I will stop you there. Please put the note paper to the side, and we will now continue with part 3. All right, Masala, awesome. Good. So great effort, strong start. Then it got a little bit more challenging as you moved along. But you definitely did some steps very well, which was realizing that, okay, I need to answer all the questions on the card, right? So at the end here, where you started to get a little bit stuck, like you started to say, he also, and then you said funded millions of dollars for starting this project. And then you realized, oh, wait a second, I haven't told the examiner about why this is important for the future. So you said, okay, people are suffering from challenges like overpopulation. Your band score, Masala, for this would probably be about a 5.5. Okay. And the reason for that is you have good ideas, you have some good vocabulary, but you are definitely getting stuck when it comes to fluency. So as you probably realize, like you're repeating the same word to try to get to the next sentence or the next idea, like saying, you know, he was also, which was, that was, he was. So that's making the comprehension a little bit more challenging. And also be careful with your grammar. So sometimes your grammar is slightly off. You're using the present tense when you should be using the past tense or the past participle. So just always review your grammar. Okay, when you're speaking, record yourself and listen for especially mistakes with verb tenses. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right. I think you have a lot of English. I think you've got a lot of good ideas, and I can see that when you're writing in the chat, it comes out quite well. So clearly you need a lot of speaking practice. Like you just need to speak a lot each day. So I strongly recommend finding a conversation partner that you can regularly talk with, and you can use the website for that. Okay, that's like what we're using right now. Use this and talk to other people each day whenever you get a chance. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. But overall, very, very good. I liked your description of the tiny little capsule. Looks small on the outside, but when you go inside, it's very big. It's very spacious. So little capsule that carries 10,000 people.
Actually, I got this idea from movie, a name Passenger movie.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. Yeah. So that's what you can tell me that, right? Okay. Masala, thank you so much for volunteering. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Make sure to come back for the next class also, okay? Because I might reach out to you for follow-up questions, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Bye, Masala. All right. That was Masala. So, yeah. So students, it's 2 parts, right? Getting good ideas and also having good English, and putting those 2 together, that's what gets you the high scores. Okay, so once you have good ideas, then it's really about mastering that grammar and that vocabulary. Amra, thanks for the thumbs up. Yeah, support each other for sure. So thumbs up to both Sarah and Masala. Okay, Alfred, I don't know if we've heard your voice. Are you ready? I can see that you sent a hi. Are you ready to practice one? We've got time for a few more volunteers here. Alfred, are you ready to answer this question? Give it a shot. Chayani, I see you're in here as well. Alfred, you're not responding. So let's see about Baljit. Baljit, are you ready? I I have a feeling Baljit's really excited to answer this question. So let's give Baljit a chance if Baljit's there. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Baljit. How are you?
I am fantastic, sir. What about you?
I am the same. Thank you. All right.
Sir.
Baljit, are you ready to give this cue card a go?
Yes, sir. I'm ready as I'll ever be.
All right. I will start you off then. Here we go. So, talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
An innovative idea that comes to my mind is intergalactic spaceship, which will send people to a different planet, and it would look like a big space shuttle, which would carry around 3,000 passenger on a single go. It would not only provide them food but also oxygen during their travel. I think uh, this idea this idea came to my mind when I was watching a sci-fi movie called Star Wars, and that's how I knew about it. They I always and Another thing is that I always read some interesting aerospace related articles, and whichever floats my boats. So they I think it can solve many problems of earth, such as overpopulation, as we are depleting some essential energy resources, which will be depleted in the near future. So I think a lot of engineers and scientists need to be collaborate together to turn this project into reality. I think it is not successful today because we don't have either knowledge of much science, and or we have a technical limitation as well. Another thing is that the power resources that we have today are limited. So in future there would be large thrusters to provide this spaceship a big thrust. On a closing note, it is a perfect idea that can change humanity for their habitat.
Okay. Your time is up. I will stop you there. That was really good. I'm a little bit perplexed if I should give you a 7.5 or an 8. I don't know. One of the two. I want to give you a 7.5, maybe an 8. If I'm having a good day, I might give you an 8. If I'm having a bad day, I'll give you a 7.5. I know that shouldn't matter, but examiners are human too, and it can. So vocabulary 8, especially when you started using words like thrusters. But I didn't like how you tried to impress me with one or two awkward pieces of vocabulary, like floats my boat. Aerospace articles that float your boat, kind of weird. But using the word thrusters in context, that was wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. Rockets, spaceships, they have thrusters like those, the with the fire coming out and everything. Yeah, those are absolutely very powerful thrusters.
Yes.
Don't force words, Baljit. Use good vocabulary when it's applicable. Thrusters were very much applicable. Aerospace articles, unnecessary, because you said to me like the idea came from watching sci-fi movie Star Wars, and I thought that was good vocabulary and it was enough. And then aerospace articles was kind of like an extra that the only time I would say that is if I finish, like you said, on a closing note. This would be a great idea to change humanity for their habitat. And if the examiner is still looking at you like, oh, okay, anything else? And then you can say, well, and I was reading an aerospace article that
Yes.
said this is actually an innovation we must have within the next 500 years, otherwise humanity will be in big trouble. Then I might put that in at the end, but I wouldn't add it at the beginning.
Today I learned this. That's why I think I should use it.
Yeah, and it's okay when you're practicing.
I think if I know that if I used it wrong, then I would remember it much clear.
Yeah, and exactly. So, Baljit, in these live classes, when you're practicing, and this is for everybody, all of our members, yeah, definitely try it. So, try new vocabulary, try new idioms, but in the real exam, definitely don't force them unnecessarily, okay? I really liked how you
I
did this on a closing note piece, by the way, as well, letting me know that you're finishing your response. Go ahead, Baljit.
Yes.
What did you want to say?
In between when I was saying like collaboration of other countries, I forgot to use the more the merrier.
I'm happy you forgot to use the more the merrier.
Like,
So, again, I think that would have been a little bit strange in this game. It needs thousands of scientists. The more the merrier. What? So, yeah, we use those idioms, but not in so much in this kind of a context, I don't think.
okay.
You said that this idea came to my mind. There's no such word as came to my mind. Okay?
Yes.
Came. So just repeat after me. This idea came to
Came.
my mind.
This idea came to my mind.
Okay? Repeat this word after me. Earth.
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 Yeah. That word, I caught it, but the pronunciation was quite strange on that one. So pronunciation doesn't matter, but if it's difficult for me to catch it, then it does. And that was a little bit off, that word earth. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Overall, that was quite good. So it was those couple of slight mistakes like earth and cames to my mind that I was like, 7.5. But if you don't make those mistakes, then I would have definitely given you the 8. Okay?
Okay. Sir.
All
I'll
right.
try to eliminate this.
Yeah, and it's just practice, right? So
Yeah.
even a little bit slower, Baljit, like 5% slower, if you can stop those mistakes by speaking 5% slower, you'll get the 8. Okay?
Okay. Sir.
All right, Baljit, that was an awesome answer. Thank you so much. We'll talk later.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
bye.
sure. Sir. Bye. Sir.
All right, that was great. Let's give Amra a chance. I have a feeling Amra is dying to volunteer here. Amra, are you ready? I'm basing that opinion on the chat. So let's see if Amra is with us. Yeah, that fast answer. I'm guessing you are ready. Amra,
Hi, sir.
how are you?
I am doing well. What about you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yes. I'm
All
ready.
all right. Okay, you've got your guitar out. You're plugged in. You're ready to go. Here we go. Okay, I will start you off. So that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. Talk about an idea or an innovation for the future that is not possible today and can greatly help humanity. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
And an innovation for the future that is non-existent today is a discovery of a beneficial and simple cure for cancer. I thought about this 2 years ago when my father was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Since then, I have been occupied by the idea of contributing to the future cancer research, which will help humanity. Um, I'm hoping that after 3 decades or so, humans will have to come up with an easily administered pill or injection that will be able to cure any type of cancer within just a couple of days without any severe side effects like chemotherapy. The discovery of this effective cure will probably save over 100 million people's lives annually from this life-threatening and terminal disease. Not only will it greatly reduce suffering among people, but also increase the length of the uh, average human lifespan. Um, Unfortunately, such a cure for cancer is not yet possible. Uh, Not only because there are numerous types of cancer which require different types of treatment, but also because there is a process called metastasis by which cancer cells can spread to other parts of the body, and this is an additional challenging riddle to solve. And I believe that it will require billions of dollars and more research to eventually put an end to this deadly disease.
Okay, we'll stop you there. Your time is up, and now we will continue with part 3. Please put the note paper to the side, and I will ask you some questions related to your response. Amra, that was an amazing response. So thumbs up and a clap for you there in combination. It was heartfelt. It was moving. It was intelligent. It was fluent. It was professional, academic. It really just checks off every box on the sheet. So amazing job. And yeah, so you took on the challenge of illness. You didn't make it personal, even though you talked about your father, which is, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but if it is, I can only imagine. Sorry, what's that, Amra? It is true?
It was true.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope that everything has gone as well as possible with that. But you didn't get overly emotional. You stayed, focused. You got the job done, and yeah, I would say that for me personally, that was a 9. Just your overall use of vocabulary,
Thank you.
grammar. I don't, I don't think that another person can sit in front of me and give me an answer to this part 2 and necessarily do better. So you used a lot of unique vocabulary. You took and answered all of the questions in the card in a very concise and precise way. You used a lot of good numbers, like 100 million lives annually would be saved. You even made sure to include some correlative conjunctions a couple of times. Like you said, not only will it greatly reduce suffering of people, but also increase the average human lifespan. Wonderful use of that correlative conjunction. And then you used it again. So not only because there are numerous types of cancer, but also because of the process of what is that process called? It's called metastasis, where it's
Metastasis.
yeah, where the cancer spreads into other parts of the body, right? So metastasized. Sorry, it's a metastasized cancer. Yes. So wonderful, very nice vocabulary. Chemotherapy. Using, you said, so this pill or injection would not have the side effects of chemotherapy, which we know, of course, are terrible. Hard topic, but you took it professionally, academically, and you did an outstanding job of answering the question. So well done, Amra. I don't really have too much negative to say about that. That's what you want to do. That's a gold standard example of how you want to answer a question like that, Amra. Well done. All right, Amra, come back for speaking part 3 in 30 minutes, okay? I might follow up with you.
Definitely, sir.
Some questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too. Thanks. Okay, that was Umra, and I can see tons of thumbs up and claps there. Yeah, I mean that's it's no question, right? When you hear a band 9, you know it's a band 9. I think we can all agree when we heard Umra's start to finish there. We were all kind of like, yeah, okay, that's now I know. That's hopefully Umra isn't the guy that comes before me with that part 2 cue card. Because if the examiner is comparing me to Umra, then I'm going to be maybe in a little bit of a challenging situation, right? Okay, I'm out of time, everyone. Alfred, Alfred, you will be the first one, okay? So everybody did, yeah, that's right, Sanantha. Everybody was doing fantastic. You all put your hearts out there, and that was just amazing. So that was part 2, and like I say, don't be scared of the cue card. Focus on what you know, and stick to these great concepts of humanity, right? Pollution, population, energy, nature, environment, illness. As long as you think about these kind of main challenges that we all share as humans, we can come up with good answers. Okay, we can come up with good answers, whether it's a space shuttle or whether it's a cure for cancer, or a green city that does not pollute. Check out aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gltshelp.com for general IELTS. I will be back, students, in about 24 minutes for speaking part 3, where we will talk about follow-up questions to this cue card, and everybody will be able to join that chat. So it will be for all students, not just members, to join the chat, and I look forward to having you there with me. So come back after a short break, stretch your legs. That's what I'm going to do. Maybe grab a glass of water, and we'll see you in the next class. Again, remember to go to our websites. That's where you want to be. We will use our websites in the next class also. Okay. All right, everybody. Bye for now.